Hi, GritsFX here. Welcome back to Nirmada Studios. Today we're going to be jumping into sculpting something more of maybe a bust or a relief, something around that nature, maybe in between. I like to be working with some oil-based clay today that I got from Nara Clay. This is wonderful stuff. I'm very happy with their product. And I'm going to be breaking out some new tools as well. Now these tools, they're specifically made for oil-based clays, but you can also use them for like water-based clays and air-dry clay as well. But yeah, they're primarily used for oil-based only because they're made out of plastic and the oil base doesn't really stick onto them too much. I've also brought in a couple of other tools as well. Today we have loop tools, which are very critical when it comes to sculpting with oil-based because they help you take out what you don't need in the sculpt. I got my clay cutter right here too as well. So I'll be shaping out and blocking out this character with this first. And then I got other sculpting tools as well too. Now I do like the shape of these because they help sort of like blend in and kind of like smooth down some of the surfaces and even tighter surfaces with this one. And yeah, these are great to work with. All right, so let's jump right into it. Okay, now I will begin with cutting out the shape of my character. Just get the general shape out. Now this is just going to be a general beginner's step on how I approach a bust character or a head sculpt. Probably won't go into it too far, but just a general understanding of how I go about it and how I start this process. Right now, in the very beginning of sculpts, it's usually just the general shape of things first that we want to just block it out, understand what are the proportions, and kind of find your landmarks on like where the eyes, where the mouth and the nose lies. Separate this part just to get a hint of maybe longer hair dropping off to the side. This is just for exercise, sometimes just for fun, or maybe it could, be pertaining to a project where we just want to get like a quick sketch of some concept that we might have in mind that we want to just dish out and see, what we might want this character to look like, find out like certain attributes, whether they would work or not, try to find out the look of this character that you're trying to go after. So it's just nice to have some little sort of like a sample or a maquette to kind of guide you on what this character would possibly look like. And also, just to brush up on your skills of sculpting human faces. It comes in handy every once in a while when you're down the line sculpting other characters as well. You could always use that type of information in your back pocket and apply it to whatever you're sculpting at the time. Now I'm going to come in with this guide. This, if you notice, this loop tool is a little thicker than this loop tool. This one is more of like a wire, but this one, it looks like it's a little flattened out. So it's slightly thicker than this. And I use this first because this handles the tougher cuts and it removes a lot more of the clay. And then this one, I'll use it for more finer detail down the line. Okay, so think I'll go ahead and open up my Nara Clay toolkit. Got this brand new. And I don't typically just bring all of them out, but let's just pop them out so that we can explore what we have here. So this tool right here, you could kind of get like sort of like a serrated edge, where people would normally use this for like trying to get make sort of patterns or scratch the clay off so that you could get strands in there. So sometimes it's useful when you're working with larger sculpts, so you can kind of see the direction of where you want your clay to go. You could also use this to kind of like hint at where things are going to sway and how you could kind of make it look like things are flowing with this tool, this edge right here. Now this edge you kind of use for like smoothing down some of those surfaces that are kind of hard to get sometimes, like in here, the crevice of the eye, or maybe like in the temple area, just trying to like smooth things out and try to blend it in. So that's useful for that. Now you got the sharper edges, which is like a poking tool. And this one has sort of like a texture in there too as well. If you can see it. It's kind of like textured in there that you could kind of use it as almost like a stamp tool. Same thing with the other edge, or the other end. This one you could also use sort of like a blending tool as well. You could roll the surface onto a sculpt. Try to blend in some of that. Now, I've gotten this up to a point where I kind of feel like, okay, I got the structure down, but every once in a while, I feel like when I'm running my fingers over this, I get like that sort of like what I was mentioning earlier, that sort of like powdery, chalky kind of feel. So what I often like to do at this point is add in a little bit of what they have is a baby oil. They recommend to use baby oil to kind of just dab your finger in it, get a little bit. Not too much. You don't want to grease up the entire surface of the sculpt. You just want to get a little hint of it to tone down some of that chalky sort of like yeah, it's more of like a chalky, dusty looking sort of like layer that happens when you're scraping oil-based clay around sometimes. So I'm just tapping it around on certain areas to kind of dull some of that down. So typically when I'm sculpting something like this, I would actually have the sculpt in hand. In that sense, I would be able to look at it from different angles, turning it upside down, sideways, either way. I would see it from every angle and make sure everything's proportional, symmetrical, and looking as how I want it to look. So when you have this at home and you're sculpting your own character, I do recommend holding it from different angles, positioning it so that you could get to see where you're taking this. Now right here, I'm noticing, okay, this section needs a little bit more work. And I love it when we incorporate some of when a sculpture is too finished, everything looks a little bit too solid and stuck in its place. I love to leave things slightly ever so, a little loose, because it retains some of the flow of things. The motion of the process is still locked in the clay. So whenever I see things like that, little tidbits, little signs of things are not fully refined, fully detailed, it leaves things slightly loose. I feel it looks a little bit more interesting. And that's what I'm trying to achieve here, where it's almost like, so to speak, she might be emerging out from the clay itself. I'm not sure, but I'm feeling that I'd like to place a crown on her. Maybe something like that. She's got almost like a Loki feel. Those mini horns. Now at this point, I like to keep the horns a little rough. They don't have to be fully detailed. Making it as if, it's not a totally detailed finished piece. The greater focus is in the face, so we don't take away from too much from the face. Just keep things a little bit rough. They're almost like complementing the sculpture from the side views or the edges. So, it's my basic female bust that I've just done right here. I think I've taken it to a spot where I'm pretty comfortable with. I like it. I might detail a little bit more further or smooth out the skin. I'm not sure yet, but I'm pretty happy with what I got right now. And yeah, that's just how I go about sculpting a bust. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please push the like button and subscribe to our channel, Nirmada Studios, right here with GritsFX sculpting the female bust. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.